Every once in a while, a client's transformation reminds us exactly why we do what we do. Erin's story is one of those moments. When she joined our Metabolic Reset, she was a busy mom of two who loved her life. But deep down, she knew she could feel better. Fast forward just 8 weeks, and her physical, emotional, and mental transformation has blown us all away. If you've ever wondered what's possible when you truly commit to yourself, stick around because Erin's story will inspire you. I'm here with our client, Erin, and we're going to go through her entire transformation journey. First of all, congrats. Your transformation actually blew me away. I'm still getting goosebumps when I looked at it. But what I would love to know is what was your life like before you started this journey or our program?
And I mean, I think that's a great question. I always have been a super positive person and I loved my life before the journey. But in the back of my mind, I always kind of just like felt like I can feel better. I mean, I am in my 40s. I just turned 41 in August. I have two kids that are 4 and 5, and I've been kind of been like pouring everything into them and, raising them and loving it along the way, but almost building these bad habits that in the back of my mind, I was like, I have a great life. I love my life, but I can feel better. I know I can feel better. I know I can feel better, every day for me, for my husband, for my kids. And I think that was really where I started, just kind of that like intuition. And then layering on top of that, at the beginning of the year, I kind of set a goal for myself in a lot of different avenues of my life. I wasn't super disciplined. I always was really easy on myself and saying, you're doing a great job, so don't worry about those things. And I was like, you know what? I need to make 2025 really disciplined being my like word of the year. This has to be my priority. And this is kind of like where it all spiraled. I was like, I don't know how to get healthy. I don't. And I think that was a big realization for me. I was like, I thought I knew what I needed to do, but I really didn't.
If I were to ask you what you were struggling with, what would you say it was? Just not having discipline, or what do you think you were struggling with?
The discipline was a big thing. I was like, you know what? I need to be harder on myself. I need to hold myself accountable because the only person that I'm disappointing is myself. I would do everything for everybody else, and it would be like all my things that fall to the bottom of the list. Which when I say it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so cliche, but it is what happens. And I think, when I look back, I always thought, I know what I need to do. Like, I know how I need to eat and what I need to do, and I need to work out and I need to do all these things to be healthy. And I'm just not doing it. But in reality, when I started committing to the program and I started, really learning about how to change my lifestyle, I realized I didn't know anything. Like I really did not know like the updated principles of like how to change my body and how to become healthier and what I needed to do that. So I think, the discipline layered on top with the program, it was just super motivating and really gave me kind of a good drive of something to commit to.
I love that. I always talk about this with clients because I'm always curious to know because, as women, you said this earlier, we're always taking care of everybody else, but there's also a limiting mindset, right? Whether it's like, oh, I don't deserve this. I need to give my attention to this, or I don't need this for myself. I need to give this to this person. So what were some of those limiting mindsets you had? Why did you wait, X amount of years to be like, okay, I need to do this now?
Think it's time. I think, busy is such a buzzword these days of everybody's busy. Like you can make yourself busy doing anything. And I always just thought, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time. Like I'd rather go to bed earlier, stay in bed longer. And it really was just kind of like this merry-go-round of exhaustion because the more sleep I got, it really did not balance out with, my overall health and wellness. And I think, that mindset was really kind of like what transformed for me in terms of, I just turned 41, as I said, and I kind of have two paths that I can go down. It's like, I'm either going to prioritize this once and for all, or I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I better not complain about it because now it's my actual real choice that I'm making. It's a conscious choice.
So what did we do to help you get back on track? What do you think? Because like there's a lot of programs out there, right? There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of
Oh, so many
I know. I
programs. And I've so many of them, to be
okay.
honest. I remember when I signed up for the program, I was talking to Sherry. She was like, you fill out the form, you're like, what are you most worried about? And truthfully, it was failure because For me, when you look at it, it's like it's an investment in yourself and in your time, and you're consciously making it. So I'm like, what if I fail? Like, I've tried things before that haven't worked. I thought they would, they didn't. And truly, that was something that was always kind of in the back of my mind. Like, I need to make this work. I need to like figure out how to do it. And, when I fully committed to the program and you provide so many different, easy to understand food options, workout options, really that layered with the discipline, like you provide such a great program, but then layering discipline onto that. And for the program, I stopped drinking, love my wine, stopped drinking altogether because I
Wow.
was like,
For 8 weeks?
I did,
Okay.
yeah. For the 8-week program, I thought to myself, if I'm doing this, I really want to do it and I really want to make it work. So I had to change some of my behaviors that it's tricky, especially in the summer months. I think like that coupled with the program, like, it's so easy to follow the food plan with your, palm-sized portions and what you're eating. I was blown away with the amount of protein that I had to eat. So changing that, everybody is always like jaw to the ground when you start looking at, what the actual diet looks like. And I find just like those principles don't feel like a diet. Now I just gravitate to those foods. It's so easy. I keep saying to people, like, I never crave bread. I never do. If I wanted it, I would have it. But it's actually just like something that I would always eat and never think about it. Now it's kind of like a conscious decision. You're kind of mindfully making choices that impacts your diet.
I'm a big fan of there's no such thing as bad foods, right? I don't I
Yes.
think as soon as you tell someone something is bad, it's almost like when you tell the kid to like not reach into the cookie jar,
Totally.
right? But
Totally.
it's, nothing is bad. Life is so short. You're not there to deprive yourself. And majority of diets, that's what happens. As soon as you deprive yourself of something, you might lose a little bit of weight, but what happens after? You're off the diet.
Give
You
up.
go
You give up 100%. And a really great example of that is my kids went to camp and there's a little Kawartha Dairy ice cream shop that they always want to go to. And I was like, I'm getting an ice cream with them because I'm not missing out on this moment with my girls. Like they're so excited. Camp is over. I'm like going to mindfully choose. I, of course, did not pick the extra large size that maybe I would have in the past, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. I did not regret it whatsoever. And I also showed my kids that yes, you can, work out, be healthy, make healthy choices, and have
correct.
ice cream.
Correct. It's not like a bad thing to have. Okay.
No.
So I would love to know, like, obviously you've gone through the program, you've succeeded. How has it changed your life?
All mindset change, like energy, energized, confidence. I've always been a confident person. And like, as I said, I'm a positive person, but just like the way that you feel during the
Mm.
day, you are so motivated to keep on this wellness journey. And I just signed up for phase 2 because I'm like, I don't want this to end. Like, I want to just like continue to level up what I'm doing. I'm so much more interested in like how I can, weave in healthy options into my diet and how it all works together. And it truly is that it's a lifestyle, not just, this like once and done thing that does feel easy now that you're kind of on it. Of course, the first few weeks I was like, oh my gosh, I have like such a sugar headache. But now that you're into it, it feels so great that I'm obsessed with feeling my best and I don't want it to end.
Right. And when you looked at your before and afters, what was your initial reaction?
Joy, pride. I think, as you're like going through it along the way, you obviously know that you're feeling great and you can see noticeable differences, but looking at it like side by side, I my jaw is to the ground at like the transformation that I've made to date and that like I'm still continuing to make. And I think like one really great thing about like the 8-week program is you do see results. If you stick to it, you really do see results quite quickly. And I find for myself, like that's so motivating because oftentimes you like listen to all this like noise on the internet, and there's so many different things on all the social media channels nowadays where, focus on this diet, do this. Oh, this worked for me. Everybody's an expert. And you try it for a couple days, you miss out on things, you're feeling really bad because you can't drink, you can't eat, so you give up. But when you kind of have this practice that you've put together and you're following it and you're disciplined and you see the results, it's so exciting and motivating that you want to keep going and you don't feel like you're missing out and you feel like you're really like working towards this like amazing goal. Yeah, it's incredible. I loved it.
Love that. What would you tell your before picture today? What would you say to her?
Like, I love you so much and you deserve this.
I love that. And if someone, because, like people, especially women, we have a million and one excuses why we can't take care of ourselves. So if someone was
Yeah.
kind of sitting on the fence and was where you were when you started this program, what kind of advice would you give them?
Do it. You won't regret it. One step. I think that people need a little push to put themselves first, and then, you when you're investing, you're taking away from other things, but truly the investment is so important because you will put your best foot forward in every other facet of your life, which is, just so incredible. You honestly feel like you're on top of the world.
I love that. And how do you think, because it's mentioned that you had done other programs before, just because, again, there's so much noise out there and people are like, well, how's this program better than anything else? Like, why is this program better than what you've done in the past?
Great question. I think it's the support.
Yeah, talk to me about
I
Sherry.
love
Uh,
Sherry. I would WhatsApp her all the time, and, like, I even find now so, like, it started where I'd be like, "This looks healthy, like, what about this?" And she'd be like, "Not healthy, like, don't do it. This is why." And then, like, now I'm, like, at a place where I'm like, "Oh, I know that's not healthy." Like, but just, like, having that dialogue on an ongoing basis is so amazing because, regardless of AI or technology or what you can look up on the internet, you never definitively know, but you have this trusted resource on call all the time. She is so fast to respond that I just found it like so easy to navigate, to understand what I needed to do. That, and then like the meal plan that you develop, there's so many great options. There's so many easy to follow things. It almost changes your mindset for food. And now you're like using food to fuel your body and make it work in a optimized way, and you feel so much better, and you don't crave any of that kind of junky processed food. So it is really fascinating when you start like getting into it. I can't believe it. If you were to ask me when did they start, May, if this is where I would be, I probably would have said no. And I'm
well,
sign
your
up.
goal was to only lose 14 pounds.
I
Um,
know. I lost like
you lost
25.
25 pounds.
I mean, people look at me, they're like, "You have to have lost more than
Wow.
25 because
Yeah,
it's the muscle that you're
correct.
losing and the inches." I am just like, now I'm so much like, I'm like, I wanna work out. I wanna get up. I'm the person that was like, I hate working out. Like, I'm just like not a workout person. And now like, okay, let's get up. We gotta get our workout in the morning. And it really funnels to your family because my husband's like, "Oh my God, like the halo effect. I'm eating way healthier. I'm doing healthier things." My kids are like, "Oh, you gotta work out. Is that a protein shake? Like, can I have a
Oh,
protein shake?" I did this program throughout the summer, and there are so many people that are like, "You're
yeah.
nuts. You're crazy. This is not gonna work. It's the hardest months to do it in." And I was kind of like, there's never a good time. Like, we have a cottage we host all the time year round. We're always doing social activities. So, like, if not now, then when? But in the summer, we went on a family vacation. We like did a road trip to Quebec, and I said to Sherry, like, "Oh, I'm like, what am I gonna do?" And, it wasn't perfect what I did. Like, I went away and I did like eat some things that probably I wouldn't have at home, but it was almost like that 80-20 rule. And then she like gave me a program that I could do a workout, when I'm on the road, and it doesn't involve weights. And you can, just stay in that kind of like mental state where you're still working towards your goal. It may be a little bit slower this week, which is fine. But because I did that, I didn't feel like, "Oh gosh, like this is brutal. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm missing out on so many things." It really was like a great natural way of, you know, changing your lifestyle. And Sherry was a big help for that because I would like text her or, WhatsApp her on the group and say, "This is what I'm doing. How should I do this?" And she was kind of like that cheerleader, being like, "No, this is fine. Like this will work. This is great. Like you're not failing at anything. It's still part of the process." So I think with this program, you really don't feel like you're just like a number. Like when you sign up for other programs, you're kind of like one of millions. You get the program, but it's really your job to navigate how it works with you. And I think with like you and Sherry and Chris, you really do feel like you're part of something very like a community, a close knit community that's not, massive. And with the WhatsApp group of like all the team and then your one-on-ones, it's so supportive and so great.
Well, listen, looking at your transformation, and it's like it really blew us away. So a huge congrats to you because you did it at the worst time, which was the summer. Like you went against all odds and you took a chance on yourself and it paid off beautifully. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm thrilled and I'm excited for
Yeah.
what's next.
If Erin's story has inspired you and you're ready to take the next step, hit the link in our bio and apply for one-on-one coaching.